It's Monday, December 18th, and this is The National.
Tonight, fallout from sexual misconduct scandals stretches beyond Hollywood. We'll show you how it's affecting Canadian jobs.
Donald Trump unveils a new security strategy and calls Russia a rival, yet no mention of election interference.
But we begin in Washington state. A high-speed train's first run ends in a deadly derailment onto a highway.
Amtrak 501. Emergency. We are on the ground. Need EMS ASAP.
The train's conductor immediately calling for help, but it was people in the vehicles blocked by the accident who could see how serious it was and who first rushed to the scene.
Didn't really want to see what I knew was probably there, and then I was like, you know what, I have to go, because I knew that if I was pinned or trapped, I would want somebody to come help me and rescue me. I saw things I've never seen a deceased person before, so I saw some things that I will probably never forget.
And it was indeed, as authorities call it, a mass casualty event. Tonight, officials saying 3 people died in that tangled mess and more than 100 taken to hospital. It happened just south of British Columbia in the Washington state community of DuPont as the train was making its very first trip on a new, faster route from Seattle to Portland. It was entering a curve crossing over the main interstate highway going down the U.S. West Coast when the train went off the rails.
Hey, guys, what happened?
We were coming around the corner to take the bridge over I-5 there, right north into Squally, and we went on the ground.
Okay, is everybody okay?
I'm still figuring that out. We got cars everywhere and down onto the highway.
Of the train's 12 cars and 2 engines, 13 jumped the tracks, some of them landing on vehicles below, including 5 cars and 2 semis.
We know that we have multiple fatals in the train, no fatals on the roadway.
I just grabbed onto the chair in front of me for dear life. My laptop went flying, my phone went flying, it was all the way at the other end. People were screaming, it was crazy.
We don't know yet what caused the derailment. Excessive speed, an object on the tracks, a structural problem, all things that may be investigated by the 20 U.S. National Transportation Safety Board officials that have been sent to the scene. And our Barry Stewart is at the scene tonight with more from the survivors and the difficulties the rescue workers had reaching some of them.
The images of the twisted aftermath gives you a sense of just what it must have been like to be one of the passengers on this inaugural train ride. And as some of them emerge from the wreckage, they describe just how suddenly it all went horribly wrong.
Things just started to tip over and as it was going around, and then all of a sudden just ended up on the side and everything went dark.
At first, some didn't grasp just how serious it was.
It felt like the train that came off the tracks or something, it was just going to slide and not be a big deal. But then the second part of the accident was like, you know, just a ricochet from there. At that point on, it was like we're turning and spinning, and the train behind us hit us, and it was just like a whole lot going on.
A few of the rail cars plunged off the bridge, crashing on to the traffic below. Others were left dangling precariously above. Some cars were strewn across the tracks and passengers were trapped inside.
The one guy pushed out the window and I helped him get down and he helped me get down and we crawled underneath the train. And I could hear people screaming and stuff in the other parts.
This freeway, which runs from Canada to Mexico, is Washington's busiest interstate. This morning it was packed with drivers. A few of them rushed toward the mangled cars to help.
And then as I got further in where the trains had kind of capsized and the roofs had kind of been torn off and people had been dumped underneath the train and were pinned, the injuries were much more severe.
In fact, even after the first responders arrived, there were some cars that simply were too dangerous to enter at first.
It wasn't easy for the firefighters to get through. They were using jaws of life. They were using air chisels.
There are reports that the train was traveling as fast as 128 kilometers an hour on a curve where the speed limit was less than 50 kilometers an hour. Amtrak wouldn't comment on whether speed was to blame.
I can tell you that it's being investigated by NTSB, and anything beyond that right now until their findings are out is pure speculation.
And Briar joins us now from the scene of the derailment and describe for us what's going on there.
Well, Ian, I'm just north of where the train went off the tracks, and you can tell from the flashing lights behind me that the southbound lanes of the interstate are still closed, and they will stay that way for hours, possibly days, as the investigation continues. Tonight, officials said that they were able to search all of the rail cars for passengers, and now we're starting to see heavy equipment and cranes come in to remove the wreckage from the site.
We mentioned this was the first trip on the new, faster route between Seattle and Portland, and how much testing was done on the line before today.
Officials with Amtrak say that there were tests and inspections done and trial runs, and that all of those records will be part of the investigation. We know that officials from the National Transportation Safety Board are on site. As mentioned, this was the inaugural train ride, so it was the first day that paying passengers were on board, but on Friday, dignitaries and politicians rode the route. And I should also mention, Ian, that as bad as this derailment was, it could have been worse because there were around 80 passengers on board, and the train was nowhere near full.
Thank you, Briar Stewart near DuPont, just south of Seattle, Washington, tonight. Well, joining us now is Ian Naish, a rail safety consultant and a former director of rail investigations for Canada's Transportation Safety Board. Ian, we're hearing various theories from media and sources in Washington State. Let's talk about a couple of those. The possibility, first of all, that this train may have hit something on the track. What would it take to create a derailment like this?
Depending on the speed of the train, and I think it was around 130, 140 kilometers an hour, something the size of a highway vehicle, like a Jeep, for example, would probably derail it. And the railways do use highway maintenance vehicles about that size or bigger, which could be on the tracks. And there was a case in California, I believe about 20 years ago, where somebody parked a Jeep right across the tracks and got hit by a commuter train, and I believe that derailed then.
You mentioned speed, a lot of talk about that as well. Reports that this train was going at about 130 to 140 kilometers an hour on a straight stretch, coming up to a curve where the speed limit was about 50 kilometers an hour. It would seem kind of obvious that an engineer would slow down for that curve, but it doesn't always happen.
No, and this is a new track, I believe, and a new route, and maybe there's a possibility the engineer was not experienced on the route, possibly a distraction. There was a case in Spain with a similar kind of train about 5 years ago where the speed limit changed, and the guy came round a curve round about the same speed and derailed and hit a bridge abutment. So these things do happen, unfortunately.
One last thing I want to ask you about, a phrase a lot of us are hearing for the first time, positive train control, a system that the federal government in the United States wants train companies to bring in. They've been reluctant because, as I understand it, because of the cost. And in this case, the train did not have that system implemented. Would it have made a difference here?
If the issue was the issue of speed, it would have made a difference. There would have been a penalty application of the brakes if a locomotive engineer hadn't applied the brakes because of the speed restriction on the curve. If there'd been a large object on the track that was not detected by the track signal circuits, then it wouldn't make any difference. It'd still be a collision.
Well, we have the data recorder here. We have lots of investigators on the scene, lots of witnesses, so we'll start getting some answers soon. Thank you very much for your analysis.
You're very welcome.
And we will keep watching for developments in this investigation through the night here on the West Coast. And Rosie, you have new details about the deaths last week of a billionaire Toronto couple.
Yeah, Ian, it's a mystery that's gripping, I know, lots of Canadians and certainly grabbing headlines around the world. And tonight, information was gathered from the home security system at Barry and Honey Sherman's mansion in the hope that it might provide some answers. And funeral arrangements were confirmed for later this week for Thursday. John Lancaster walks us through what we know.
For a third straight day, forensic officers combed the billionaire's home looking for something, anything that may determine who killed Barry Sherman and his wife, Honey. There are countless questions, but here's what we do know. Barry Sherman, described by many as work-obsessed, didn't show up at the office on Thursday. A real estate agent found their bodies Friday morning in their sprawling mansion in Toronto's North End. Police have said little so far, only that the couple died from ligature compressions on their necks.
We are not currently seeking or looking for an outstanding suspect.
Police have not said anything more since. The Shermans' friends say there's no way this could be a murder-suicide.
They were madly in love with each other. They still walked hand in hand. They had everything in life to be looking forward to.
The couple, among Canada's wealthiest, were generous philanthropists donating millions to charities and causes helping the sick and less fortunate.
They were rich beyond anybody's wildest dreams. They were always rooted in community.
Much of that fortune came from Apotex, the generic drug manufacturing company founded by Barry Sherman. Last summer, Apotex lost a Supreme Court decision challenging its practice of manufacturing cheaper, generic drugs patented by other companies. And with that, potential financial implications for Apotex. Today, Honey was supposed to fly to the couple's winter home near Miami. Barry was set to join her later this week. So was their friend Fred Wax. He says the couple had plenty to look forward to, including a daughter's wedding.
And they just had a grandchild from another daughter 2 weeks before. Not exactly events that would sadden anybody.
Police say they'll have more information in the coming days. John Lancaster, CBC News, Toronto.
U.S. President Donald Trump took his America First policy global today.
Our rivals are tough. They're tenacious and committed to the long term. But so are we. With the strategy I am announcing today, we are declaring that America is in the game and America is going to win.
Trump unveiled his administration's first national security strategy, focused heavily on protectionism in what Trump called a new era of competition. But there is one piece of that policy that doesn't really square with the president's personal opinions, the part on Russia. Keith Bogue takes a closer look.
The president's speech was cast as a return to Cold War hawkery, with a focus on Russia and China. Donald Trump is no stranger to tough talk, but in this case, the talk was tepid.
We also face rival powers, Russia and China, that seek to challenge American influence, values, and wealth. We will attempt to build a great partnership with those and other countries, but in a manner that always protects our national interest.
Hardly a battle cry. The toughest part was this vague promise.
We will stand up for ourselves, and we will stand up for our country like we have never stood up before. Thank you.
The U.S. has, of course, stood up for itself in 2 world wars, the Cold War, and perhaps recklessly in response to the 9/11 attacks. Still, Trump's comments today were somewhat stronger than his foreign policy tweets about Russia. When will all the haters and fools out there realize that having a good relationship with Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing? They're always playing politics, bad for our country. I want to solve North Korea, Syria, Ukraine, terrorism, and Russia can greatly help, he tweeted a few weeks ago. So it makes for a curious question. How did the finer print of the National Security Strategy document wind up saying this about Russia? Although the menace of Soviet communism is gone, new threats test our will. Russia is using subversive measures to weaken the credibility of America's commitment to Europe, undermine transatlantic unity, and weaken European institutions and governments. Russia continues to intimidate its neighbors with threatening behavior, such as nuclear posturing and the forward deployment of offensive capabilities. President Trump has never said anything remotely like that in public. Maybe he really does recognize the threat of Russia. More likely, that's the work of the military and foreign policy minds who've taken over the key roles in Trump's White House. Keith Bogue, CBC News, Washington.
One of President Trump's picks for federal judge has withdrawn his nomination. Matthew Peterson was widely ridiculed last week, you might remember, after a video went viral of him struggling to answer some pretty basic legal questions at his confirmation hearing.
Mr. Peterson, have you ever tried a jury trial?
I have not.
Civil?
No.
Criminal?
No.
Bench?
No.
State or federal court?
I have not.
Peterson, who was up for a lifetime appointment on the U.S. District Court, sent a letter to President Trump saying he was honored to have been nominated, but he did not want to become a distraction for the administration. Trump today accepted Peterson's decision to withdraw his nomination.
The list just keeps growing. Powerful men thrown out of work over sexual misconduct. But in almost every case, other people, innocent people, suddenly pay a price for someone else's scandal. Eli Glasner tracked down some of them.
The animators at this Vancouver studio had a dream job, working on a new cartoon from comedian Louis C.K. But then...
Comedian and actor Louis C.K. has just responded to accusations of sexual misconduct.
Louis C.K. admitted to masturbating in front of women.
It was a pretty big shock to everyone. I mean, we found out the news same time as everyone else on the Friday about the story dropping, and then we all spent the weekend worrying and wondering what was going to happen.
By Monday, they got the call. The series was canceled.
It was upsetting because you do put all this time and effort into something, and then one decision suddenly erases it.
More than 50 people lost months of work, with another 50 in Los Angeles scrambling to find jobs. That's the fallout from just one of many scandals rocking Hollywood.
The minute I saw the allegations, I worried.
Toronto filmmaker Barry Average had just sold a documentary about the Nuremberg trials to the Weinstein Company when news broke about the allegations against producer Harvey Weinstein.
My plan was to get the film back as quickly as I can, that it should not be in the hands of the Weinstein Company.
Average eventually did get the film back, but many other projects are still trapped in legal limbo. The continuing wave of sexual allegations has wiped out or threatened dozens of projects.
My child is a prisoner.
For sheer drama, nothing comes close to the race to save all the money in the world.
How much would you pay to release your grandson if not $17 million?
Nothing.
With Kevin Spacey starring as billionaire J. Paul Getty, all the money in the world had been expected to be an Oscar contender. Then allegations against Spacey put the whole project in peril.
Harvey dropped. And then so did Kevin. I went, oh no, here we go. The world is going to open up and swallow up what we've done. And the film is so good, I felt it could not be let to die.
It cost $10 million to reshoot Spacey's scenes using Canada's Christopher Plummer.
If I start paying ransoms, I'll have 14 kidnapped grandchildren.
The overall comparison part of the budget is not terrible. So, particularly as we all came in and did it for nothing. That's how supportive it was. He didn't do it for nothing.
When offered the part, Plummer never hesitated.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it does happen on stage a lot, so one is used to it. Not on film, though. You're right, it's extraordinary how rare it happens in cinema.
After a whirlwind of 18-hour days, they pulled it off.
What would it take for you to feel secure?
More.
All the Money in the World has already received 3 Golden Globe nominations, a rare rescue story in an industry where collateral damage continues to mount. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Still ahead tonight on The National, they lost their farmland and their livestock in a fire that started at a nearby military base. So why, 3 months later, are they still left asking for compensation?
And many Canadians say they simply can't afford to fill their prescriptions. We'll look at sticker shock at the pharmacy and how doctors could help soften the blow.
And a little later on The National documentary, why one musician was moved to travel to the Maritimes and sing the blues to help others in need.
It stuck with me my whole life. So, excuse me, taking care of people who are less fortunate or need a hand, it's a very cool thing.
On The National tonight, vindication for Lindsay Shepherd, the Wilfrid Laurier University teaching assistant at the center of a debate about free speech on campus. The school's president says that she never should have been scolded for playing a clip in class of a controversial U of T professor who refuses to use gender-neutral pronouns. Shepherd was told a student had complained and that she had created a toxic environment, but an investigation concluded a formal complaint was never made. It is now illegal to hunt grizzly bears in British Columbia. The sweeping new ban takes effect immediately and expands on a decision last summer to stop hunters from killing the bears for sport. Under the new rules, no grizzly can be hunted in BC, but there is an exemption. First Nations people are still allowed to hunt the bear for food, social, or ceremonial purposes. And some shocking new numbers released today on the growing toll of the opioid crisis. At least 1,460 people died of opioid-related overdoses just in the first half of this year. And a special committee set up to monitor the epidemic says Canada could see more than 4,000 opioid-related deaths by the end of this year. If that happens, it's a staggering increase from last year when opioids claimed just under 2,900 lives.
3 months ago, an out-of-control grass fire ripped through Canada's largest military base. Sparked by a training exercise, the flames spread quickly to neighboring farms, killing livestock and devastating livelihoods. As Brian Labby reports tonight, ranchers are now still waiting for compensation.
The fire devoured an area nearly half the size of Calgary. It was hot, dry, and windy. A fire ban was in place across most of southern Alberta. At CFB Suffield, where the fire started, soldiers were blowing up unexploded bombs, grenades, and shells. The fire spread to nearby farms and killed 160 head of cattle. Ivan Schlatt lost 100.
There was probably 19, 20 head that I found that were still alive and struggling, and had to put them down too.
The flames destroyed a house, a barn, outbuildings, trucks, and tractors. This used to be a farmhouse where an 89-year-old man had to be rescued moments before the flames roared through.
His house is gone. His whole life is turned upside down. So they know changes have to be made. They can't continue being neighbors like that.
They are CFB Suffield, the military base where soldiers have sparked many fires during training exercises over the years.
We started a fire. It was on the base. We lost control of it. It got off the base. It caused damage. There's no question about that.
The question for many victims is why they're still waiting for compensation. Swenson says he's already spent $60,000 to replace winter feed for his animals and fencing materials that were destroyed.
In about 2 months. If we aren't seeing anything by then we're going to start looking at different actions, I guess, if it be legal or whatever.
Onyu says the compensation process is out of his hands. More senior members of the military in Edmonton are making those decisions.
This fire has garnered attention right up to the top of national defense.
Onyu is promising to share some of the findings of the military investigation with property owners next month, but it'll likely be much longer before they see any compensation. Brian Labby, CBC News, Suffield, Alberta.
Now an update on a former Halifax firefighter and her 12-year battle over workplace harassment and gender discrimination. CBC's been following this story closely, and today Leanne Tessier received a formal public apology from the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission and city officials.
Firefighting has historically been a male-dominated career. In Halifax, and in fact in many other fire services across our nation, this has led to systemic discrimination based on gender. For this, I extend an apology on behalf of the Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency to Leanne Tessier, one of our former volunteer firefighters, and any other female firefighter who has experienced discrimination within this organization.
Tessier says she was the target of abusive and demeaning behavior on the job, but for years her complaints were dismissed. She now hopes her story will affect real change in fire halls across the country.
If you care about women in the fire service like they claim they do the right thing and acknowledge the obvious gender discrimination that is happening to women so they can speak out and feel safe.
The apologies were part of a settlement reached with Tessier. She will also receive an undisclosed amount of money.
Still ahead on The National. The Canadian couple who have earned their place in the history books. You'll meet the first husband and wife to command the same warship.
But first, why many Canadians are being forced to walk away from the pharmacy without their prescription drugs.
They came over and said that it was like $5,100 for 1 month's supply. And I was, wow. I was very mad and upset, and at the government, at the doctor, the whole bit.
And she's not alone. Many Canadians are reeling over the high cost of prescription drugs. And according to a recent national survey, sticker shock at the pharmacy is leading many Canadians to simply walk out without them. Part of the problem is that doctors rarely talk about drug prices. But as Christine Birak reports, there's now a push to use technology to change that.
My daily routine.
Since being diagnosed with leukemia in 2001, Sharon Dennis depends on her medications. A retired engineer, she has insurance.
These are my morning pills.
But one prescription turned her life upside down.
So I went to the pharmacy and gave it to the pharmacist, and they said, oh, you realize it's not covered? And I said, oh, okay. And then they came over and said that it was like $5,100 for 1 month's supply. And I was, wow.
Her physician never mentioned the cost, and there's no way she could afford it. Part of the problem? Doctors aren't in the habit of telling patients the price of their prescriptions. The most recent national survey showed in the previous year, more than 1 in 5 Canadians said they or someone in their household didn't take their meds as prescribed, if at all, because of the cost.
Just for these little pills right here. And then
Dennis went 4 months without cancer medication while fighting to get those little golden capsules covered.
Being sick, it makes you more sick. You know, it just, yeah, you can't sleep, everything. You just worry, 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 worry.
Pharmacist Mina Tadros sees it all firsthand. Patients standing at cash registers embarrassed and uncomfortable.
Often, the conversation doesn't go in the sense of, oh, I can't pay for this, I'm not filling it. It often goes a little bit like, oh, that's how much it's going to cost, okay, well, let me think about it. And then the moment they walk out that door, I know that I'm probably not going to see them again for that specific prescription.
Which may land them in a hospital bed sooner than later. And when doctors don't talk about prices, Tadros says patients are denied cheaper options.
So this is a great example here, right? Because this drug is a combination of 2 drugs that are generically available. Now, the doctor may think that they're doing them a favor by giving them something that's 2 pills in 1, but the problem is that this is not covered by all insurance plans. So what happens is, all of a sudden they have to come in, they have something that's not covered, they have to pay out of pocket, and not just that, it's 3 times the price.
My dad had told me one time, you know, life is expensive, you just have to figure out how you're going to pay for it.
A self-employed massage therapist, Heidi Bauer, was diagnosed with breast cancer at 38. With no insurance, paying extra for prescriptions is painful. Even with financial help, she worked while undergoing cancer treatments so her young family could afford to live.
I think I wish that I had, well, I know that I wish I had had more time for my body to heal the way that it was asking to heal. But I had to come back to work.
Let's open the dialogue.
Family physician Iris Gorfinkel wants to change the system. She says most doctors don't know the prices of drugs, leaving patients with sticker shock.
That's not part of the healing process. That's not part of the transparency that we want to be offering patients. That's not part of ensuring that patients get adequate care.
Dr. Gorfinkel says doctors can do better.
People care about this as an issue, that it matters as an issue.
She's petitioning the Ontario government for an electronic fix. When doctors enter a patient prescription, the system brings up the price they'd pay, along with other drug options.
So it's really exciting. It's a small idea, but it would translate into big change.
Cracking open the door on drug transparency, hoping others will follow. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
So where do we stand when it comes to global drug prices? The short answer is right near the top. Canada has the 3rd highest prescription drug rates in the world, behind only the United States and Switzerland. That is apparently for a couple of reasons. Canadian firms spending comparatively little on research and development that can improve drugs and lower prices over time. And for decades, our prices were partly tied to those in the United States, where drugs are very expensive. New government changes to fix that haven't yet had an impact.
Major cell phone providers in this country are waging a price war, offering consumers major deals on data plans just in time for the holidays. Canada still has some of the world's highest cell phone rates, so people are jumping at this deal. Rogers, Fido, Bell, Virgin, TELUS, Koodo, and Freedom Mobile are all offering 10 gigabytes of data for $60 per month for customers who already have their own phone. The promotional rate is unprecedented in recent years. It's about $65 less than regular pricing. But good luck trying to get the deal. In fact, so many Canadians are interested in the plans Websites are crashing and carriers are having a tough time keeping up with the calls coming into their call centers, urging people to go in person instead.
We are not able to answer your call at this time. If you are calling regarding the latest Bell Mobility promotion, please visit a Bell store.
I called, but they're very busy.
Crazy busy.
Yeah.
Those who did manage to get the deal say it's worth the wait.
I pay $56 right now for 2 gigabytes, so it's an extra 8 gigabytes for $4 extra.
The promotion was supposed to expire today, but some carriers have already extended the offer. Never mind data plans, though. Some Canadians struggle just to get enough to eat. Up next on our national documentary, One Man's Mission to Help Out the Hungry.
It's really important to me as a Canadian and as a New Brunswicker and as a Miramichier to be here tonight.
Well, I hear that train coming, it's coming around there. I can see some tracks, I don't know where.
Well, that'll put a smile on your face. At this time of year, food banks see a sharp rise in demand. So a New Brunswick musician decided to harness the blues and to help feed the hungry. As Nick Purdon discovered, the man called Matchstick Mike knows what it's like to help others when you haven't got that much yourself.
Welcome to Blues for Food, and 7th show tonight of 17 shows, 16 days,
Playing the blues through the Maritimes, raising funds and food for less fortunate people in the food banks.
walk with the rich, walk with the poor, learn from everybody. That's what life is for. Blues for Food tour, ladies and gentlemen.
With tonight's show over, Mike Bidlake, or Matchstick Mike as he likes to be called, can finally relax. Still, out comes the guitar.
I'm just a man, I roam the open road.
The road Matchstick Mike is on is a 17-show, 16-night, 3-province musical odyssey.
My life is simple, my dreams are met.
All to help raise money for food banks.
I'll never forget. It feels really great to be tired at the end of a day with a sore throat and sore fingers. It feels good to have known that I'm tired because I was trying to help somebody, or help people.
As we keep chatting, I wonder what makes Mike, who doesn't have a lot himself, want to help others so much.
Poverty affects me hugely. I just have this sort of, I just take it on, you know?
But can a man and his guitar really help people in one of the poorest parts of the country?
Sunday, I get up and go to church. And I get down on my knees, and then I pray. See if I can play this while I'm moving.
The next morning, Matchstick and his buddy Travis Furlong are on their way to Miramichi, New Brunswick. Travis has hit the other side of 50. He's basically a blues song himself, having been playing for more than 30 years.
We've known about each other for years and ran into each other for years. I look at Mike as really the energetic driving force behind a lot of this tour.
The tour isn't exactly glamorous. Mike and Travis drive themselves from town to town, bar to bar. Halfway through, they've raised a few $1,000s. Charity doesn't get more local than these guys. The reason Miramichi is a stop on the tour is simple. This is a tough place to make a go of it. In the last 10 years, the local mine closed, and so did one of the mills. The people who are still here are resilient, but some of them need help. Jean Matchett is the food bank director here. She tells me that out of the 17,000 people who live in Miramichi, about 10% use the food bank every month. That's just how important this place is, even if...
People don't want to be at the food bank. People don't want other people to know they're at the food bank. But when they leave, you see the different attitude on their face. I just make them feel welcome. They're a friend. They're part of my family.
So on this night, Jean is counting on Mike for help. But the thing is, Mike wasn't always into giving back. In his 20s, he wanted to get rich. Mike went west and landed in Calgary, and he worked in the high-stakes, high-stress world of commercial real estate.
A lot of things were happening at that point in my life. I was drinking a lot. You know, there was a theme throughout a lot of my life, you know, this alcohol thing. I realized that no matter how much money I made, I wasn't going to be happy.
Thanks so much. Matchstick, Mike Bentley.
And so Mike came back home to the Maritimes to pursue his music dream. And now he's sober and focused on helping other people.
Just about to go table to table, looking for donations.
He meets a couple with their own story.
When we were a young couple, when we had a young family, it hurt my pride back then to have to go to the food bank, but we used the food banks because we had to, and now we're an opportunity. Every time we go to the grocery store, whenever I go to I always give back every time.
Thanks, guys, so much for coming out, eh? Right on, appreciate it. So let's see what we got there.
For Jean, this is it.
Oh, 20s first.
The final count, $425.
I know the people of Miramichi are very generous, so I see that every day. So it doesn't surprise me to see people here doing it.
It worked. It worked.
Thanks.
We'll stop by. It was instilled to me at a very young age that, you know, we take care of people that can't necessarily help themselves, you know. I remember my dad, we didn't have a lot of money either, you know, and my dad one time, getting an income tax check back. He took my sister and I to get ice cream. We were about 6 years old. And we're having ice cream at Dairy Queen. And this guy knocks on the door. He says, hey, you know, buddy, can you spare a smoke? And my dad says, sorry, pal, I don't smoke. And the window rolled up. And Dad said, I'm going to go buy him a pack of smokes. I'll be right back. He ran in. There's a cigarette machine. And it stuck with me my whole life. You know? So, excuse me, taking care of people who are less fortunate or need a hand, it's a very cool thing.
Before the show in Bathurst, I learned how personal the tour is for Travis, too. He tells me about his life when he first got married.
We didn't have great big paying jobs. I was a musician. She was working at a call center. And we were trying to make ends meet as best we could and being practical and, you know, and just couldn't do it. So we found ourselves at the food bank. And that was a very humbling thing for me because I grew up in a family that there was always enough to eat. And when I went to the food bank, standing in line at the food bank, felt like a failure when you're working hard and doing everything you can and you got to reach out to get some help. There's no shame in that. So this guitar is my broad axe. This cuts through all the crap in life. You know, if I'm not feeling complete, if I'm not feeling good, I can grab a guitar, strap it on, or just sit like I'm doing like right now and just...
It strikes me just how important it must be for Travis that the Blues for Food tour is a success.
How's it going, everybody? Bathurst! Give yourselves a big round of applause for coming out and supporting the food bank here in Bathurst. Each show goes to the food bank of that town, so thank you very much.
Wild with the rich, wild with the poor.
But things aren't going well at Blues. The place is half empty, and the people who are here, most of them have never heard of Blues for Food. But like true pros, Matchstick and Travis grind out their set.
Well, we're walking up to heaven. Don't let nobody turn you around.
$22, $23. Oh, wait, a quarter. Yeah, I'll throw it in there, too. There was a quarter left in there from...
After all the driving and singing his heart out, that's it. $23.25.
$23 right here. We'll go throw that in the other box.
You have to wonder how Mike stays positive.
How much?
Yeah, more than $40.
Awesome.
But then Celine, the waitress, donates her tips for the whole night. All $210.
High fives. This girl gets a big hug from everybody in the joint, man. Beautiful.
I'm a mom of 4 kids, and there's a lot of families that don't have a lot. And it's harder this time of the season after schooling, after the cold, the winter, everything. I had myself had a hard time with the kids and had to struggle paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes not even paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes we had to have a handout and go, and the food bank was there for us and was there for a lot of other families.
I'm just a man, I roam the open road. I forage a living and drag it on home.
What hits me at Lou's Pub is if people on the edge of needing help themselves can give so much, then the Blues for Food tour should be an inspiration for all of us. Nick Purdon, CBC News, Bathurst, New Brunswick.
Ahead on the national meet, the Canadian husband and wife who tag team on everything from raising kids to defending the country at sea.
When I first talked to him, I said, congratulations, scratch my paint.
That's friendly naval warfare officer rivalry, I guess.
The internet says you're dead. What is the source of this falsehood? And what photo are they using?
On the National Tonight, Puerto Rico's governor has ordered a review of how many people died as a result of the Hurricane Maria. Right now, the official death toll on the island sits at 64, but U.S. media say the number is likely much higher. The New York Times found that more than 1,000 deaths could be linked to the hurricane. Also tonight, the former NDP leader, Tom Mulcair, will resign his seat in the House of Commons in June. He says he plans to take up a position at a Canadian university, but he hasn't revealed which university he'll join. And speculation is running rampant tonight over the new NDP leader's love life after a series of photos appeared online. They're from an event that took place over the weekend in Brampton, Ontario. One caption online described it as a roka ceremony, a Punjabi pre-wedding event. But Jagmeet Singh's office says it wasn't an engagement party. It was a celebration of the two families meeting for the first time. Well, on to a couple that is definitely married and, in fact, seems to have the perfect balance between work and family life, both at home and while defending the country at sea. And they've made history doing it as Canada's first married couple at the helm of the same warship. Kayla Hounsell has the story of the husband and wife commanders.
Yeah, yes, please, because I need these doors unlocked.
When Lieutenant Commander Chris DeVita had achieved his dream of commanding a warship, he was excited. But then he realized he had big shoes to fill, his wife's.
I actually found out before him that he was taking over command of Glace Bay. So when I first talked to him, I said, congratulations, don't scratch my paint.
That's friendly naval warfare officer rivalry, I guess.
Lieutenant Commander Victoria DeVita grew up in the unlikely naval capital of Indian Head, Saskatchewan. She joined the military in 1995, but by 2013 she was at the helm of HMCS Glace Bay as it intercepted drug dealers in the Caribbean. She's only the 4th woman in Canada to ever command a warship.
I think it's a great thing for women to know that not only have we reached that glass ceiling and past that, but it's now becoming more and more commonplace for women to take in these senior positions.
What's changed in here?
Well, for the most part, the plant's the same, but we've had a few damage control modifications.
The DeVitas met in basic training and have now been married for 20 years. They have 2 children, 11 and 13 years old, and say they've taken turns over the years, allowing each other to focus on their careers.
The traditional roles of what a woman does at home versus what a man does at home kind of goes out the window, and as it should.
A lot of galley maintenance going on.
They credit the Navy for trying to find a role at home for one while the other was at sea. It was tough at times, but they made it work.
So when you're both at home, who commands the ship at home?
Well, I know what his answer would be, but I would like to say it's an equal role.
A diplomatic answer, but they agree they help each other when it comes to advice at home and at sea. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
That's a great story. Before we go tonight, a note of well-deserved congratulations to some of our colleagues. Margaret Evans, Stephanie Genzer, and Richard Devey.
South Sudan wasn't even 3 years old before it fell into civil war itself. Peace deals propped up and falling apart ever since.
This is why they've won Amnesty International Canada's 2017 Media Award for Margaret's in-depth coverage of South Sudan, which aired earlier this year. South Sudan, Unfulfilled Promise. It looked at the crisis engulfing the world's youngest country since conflict broke out there in 2013. And with more refugees fleeing that country than any other African nation, the story is far from over. So congrats to that team. And that is The National for December 18th. Good night.
Good night.